Hey everybody, welcome back.
We're back with this muffler knife. This muffler knife inside of a muffler.
This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I'd like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us about the split between the prosecutors and the police with this knife?
Sure thing. Not a problem. Not even a little one, really. Oh, I'm gonna love this. I love this guy. I love his voice. And I'm positive I'm doing it wrong. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the police department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. Lies. A detective was killed at the police department, see? What a mess. The time of the crime, 5:15, scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this case here, so I can't talk much about it. Oh, we're going to. Because you're the killer of both those cases, aren't you, Gaunt? I love him.
There was a murder at the police department? A detective?
That's hush-hush information, Unji. We haven't exactly announced it yet.
Wait a second, you said 5:15? That's the exact time Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office.
There's a cover-up! A cover-up with a scapegoat. And her name's Lana Sky. Anyway, we at the department, we're all a fluster, as you might well assume. I'm doing such... What is it? It's, what's the name of the character? No, why can't I remember his name?
From which?
The Tex Avery cartoons. The giant chicken.
Oh, Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn, thank you.
It is the
How
most
could I
classic...
forget his name?
It is,
I didn't want to go Foghorn Leghorn, but I've begun and I can't stop. We're in the middle of a top secret investigation. Don't tell anybody, okay?
I think we understand the police department situation.
Oh, we're gonna pry open
Mr.
into
Wright?
that case.
2 detectives killed at the exact same time in 2 different places. So now you know why the intro is framed the way it is. Because Lana Sky is responsible for both cases.
Which puts her in an interesting position. Because we're gonna have to. Because unless she cloned herself, how was she in 2 places at once?
Yeah.
The chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking.
I like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness.
Can't
Very
take
well.
it from him.
Ever. Keep your questions focused on the case at hand.
Are we gonna get penalized for pressing?
We will know by the first press. Okay?
Alright. It's enough. Okay, I've already read this.
Notice that it said trial ladder. Because we had a break in between, because holy crap, this case is long. Okay. Okay, excuse me, special?
Hard to come by this particular knife anywhere else.
Might that special be thing, this little tag?
Oh, sorry, Rado, but I can't say that now. Not that.
We've established that the knife in Mr. Goodman's chest was this one. Now, why was there another knife at the scene of the crime?
Edgeworth is asking the right questions.
That is quite a mystery.
And like a mystery, it's wrapped in something. A muffler. It's wrapped inside of a muffler that was slid into a muffler.
So, this knife was found at the scene of our crime. Think that makes it connected to this case, don't you?
See, there's a lot of things that go on at the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry, Rado. Maybe there's something about the knife that will give us a clue. Maybe the piece of paper found underneath the body. Underneath the body, I might add.
Evidence that links the knife to Detective Goodman. I think perhaps the pieces are falling into place. Should try presenting the piece of evidence that had me stumped all this time. So, how are things down at the department?
So should we present it then? I don't know.
Okay, something happened in the police department too, huh?
You got a good look in your eyes there, Rido, my boy. Sharp, hungry.
So, something did happen. Why wasn't I informed?
Well, because you were the planned victim. Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand you were busy, what with Lana's case and all, that you were kept from investigating in its full. Because Miles is the type of person who would have turned that whole case upside down.
Well, what happened that day at the police
We're
department?
gonna get stopped here.
Was a detective was killed. On the same day, the detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot. Another detective killed at the police department.
That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Unji?
I'm at a loss for words.
There was a hit. Someone was being killed to keep
And
them
the
silent.
perpetrator, do you have a suspect?
Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact.
Just arrested, that was quick.
But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Rido. Because once we disprove her from one case, we're gonna have to disprove her from the other.
I suppose I could help if you help me by giving me data on your case.
Oh, good one. This kid's sharp. Careful, you'll cut yourself on that edge. Hey, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and only one thing. I think when... No,
we already know when, and we already know where, so we might as well ask how.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how was the detective killed?
How was he killed? Now that's the interesting part. It was what we in the Force call a stabbing. With a knife.
A knife. Exactly the same as Detective Goodman.
That's the spirit we're cooking now. But you know, that's not the only thing that was exactly the same.
What do you mean?
There were more similarities between the two cases than the cause of death.
Seems I'm gonna have to press this a bit harder.
The time of the crime? Oh, I already read that.
5:15. So that's when Detective Goodman killed the... What?
Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's place and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances?
So he thinks they're connected.
Mm-hmm. Well, he knows that they're connected.
Coincidence.
This is just my gut feeling, but I'd say that there's a 0.001% chance of that happening.
Okay, Chief Gaunt, please tell us more about the incident. Officially linked, so I can't talk much about
Well,
it.
it's obviously linked because they're the exact
Wait,
same.
how can you say that there's no connection?
How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Rido. You understand?
Try to understand, Rido.
Well, if you can prove there's a connection, more power to you. I'll just shut it down. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together.
Okay, whatever this is, I'd better get to the bottom of this. Two detectives were killed at 5:15. One at the prosecutor's office, one at the police department. Can't be a coincidence.
And that knife. What was that knife doing there?
I'd better check this knife out. Okay. Okay, so let's quickly, like, look at this knife a little bit better. So, it's broken, but we can't actually examine that.
There's a small tag on the knife.
It says SL92. What's that supposed to mean? Not sure. It reminds me of a similar code. DL6? Maybe a case number?
Maybe we already have something labeled SL9.
Huh, that's weird. What?
I don't remember where. But I think I've seen something like this before, Something similar to what's written on the tag. It wasn't that long ago either.
Maybe I should check the court record again. I should just start shaking him. The note!
I mean, really, you couldn't lean any harder into that if you tried. This is old.
Yeah.
It's got entrenched bloodstains.
Yeah, it's got some weird markings on
With
it.
almost the exact same knife, too. That's the troubling part. And that bothers me.
Okay, so let's present this here. There we go. Okay, wait a second.
Ah, at last, an honest-to-goodness objection.
Sorry, I was looking through all my court evidence to try to figure out what you were here for.
You have court evidence? I've only seen half of it.
This knife has something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean?
In honest-to-goodness, what do you mean from Unjit? This is great.
Okay, look at the tag on the knife. It reads SL92.
He's gonna be difficult.
And this is important why?
Present evidence.
Okay, so over here, we have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What is this? 6 minus SS? 7S? 12 over 2? Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside down.
Probably folded.
Okay,
and
so
upside
the printed
down.
name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up, but when you turn it around, what do you get?
221 SL9. Found under the body.
Ah. Okay, so whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. So that's the same thing was written on the knife's tag. Okay, wait, well, Chief?
Ah, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Rado. At least he allowed us to
I win? What game is this guy playing?
Kangaroo Court. Yeah, it's the game no one wants to play, but yet people play it all the time. This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department evidence room.
So, this knife was stolen.
Yes, but on the day of the murder.
And it was evidence, you say. Was it, in fact, a murder weapon?
Nice, nice, nice. Good show, little worthy. It was a murder weapon, as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved.
This knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edward's car.
So whoever put that knife in there, we now have them directly linked to this scene. Hard to think there isn't a connection there.
Or in any shape to do an investigating. So, something happened in the police department. Oh, wait, we already went through this. Okay, the knife was stolen.
And
Bad
we
day.
have
Police
Phoenix
department.
directly
Crime scene.
sorry. We have Miles directly connected to the prosecution office through his car. Unless we're gonna say someone stole his car on top of everything else, which Miles contradicts.
Oh, okay.
You know what to do?
This is one of those rare times in which pressing it before presenting evidence actually causes a problem.
Oh.
So, we now have to press this one.
Okay.
Okay, 5:15. That's when Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. We're at the prosecutor at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence. Chief Gant, please tell us more about the incident.
And now that they're connected, he can tell us more.
Oh, wait. Wait, it's not officially linked. Wait, how can you say there's no connection? How? Oh, yeah.
But I've already read this, so it's
Yeah.
all good.
I understand.
As much as I love doing
If
his...
you can prove a connection, more power to you. Huh. That's weird.
Did we completely screw the pooch?
No. I think what happened was...
Well, they're obviously connected. It doesn't
No
take...
way.
You pressed the wrong one?
Okay, so remember when he asked us all those questions? Okay. We are able to ask one question each time. How? It's pretty interesting. When? We already know. We're supposed to actually ask where.
But we already know where.
So, tell me, where was the victim found?
Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found. But I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department.
The evidence room. Wait a second, I've heard that.
The evidence room. Didn't he mention that in his testimony right now that something was stolen?
Yeah. So, there is a connection between the two cases.
You seem happy, Mr. Wright.
Happy, we just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. The link between the two cases established when we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify to the details.
And does everything open up to us now?
Now we have to press the fifth one. Okay, Chief. The defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases have already been proven.
Heh. You don't say. Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection?
Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. Okay, the connection in this place, is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife was found in the parking lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number and the evidence, on the knife's evidence tag. And we know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Killed in that same. Indeed. There do seem to be too many connections to be a coincidence.
It gets even more connected. Doesn't it? Lana's the murderer, isn't she? Or that...
You two make a good... Oh.
Don't take this from me. You two make a good pair. Black socks in a drawer. It took my men 2 days to figure out what you deduced right here. Get better men. Or put Gumshoe on the case and he'll give us the evidence and allow us to do it.
Chief, I request that you release the information on the victim at the police department.
See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all.
Can we get the information unofficially?
No. Sure, why not? It's unofficial, after all, which means the evidence I'm saying isn't gonna go on the court record.
What, really?
Who would have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay?
Well, if you're gonna tell us a little, why not tell us everything?
Not a chance. Oh, well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly for the first time in this series' life.
Well, I guess I might as well try to get what out of him. Victim's ID number.
Victim ID. We need to get the victim ID.
Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Sure.
Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that.
Of course not. You wouldn't tell me their name after all.
Well, keep a tight lid on the ID. We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. Oh, don't worry. We have that already. The number is 584-2189. 567
584218689. Yeah.
It's him.
Goodman was murdered at the police department at the same time that his body was being found at the prosecutor's office.
That's a contradiction. It also explains the vast scale of time of death, ranging from anywhere from 4 o'clock to 5:30.
Yeah, so most likely what happened was he was murdered at the police station, put in
5:15.
At like near 4. His body was discovered at 5:15. His body was put into the trunk of the car, carried to the station, and the Lana Sky found it over there at 5:15.
And she immediately hid evidence for Edgeworth to find.
Well, that's quite long.
And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts.
8 to I can't do it. Didn't even get the first numbers right.
Does Phoenix have an Idanic memory, or however you're supposed to pronounce it?
A photographic or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? ID number of the victim at the police department. This tells me something. It does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning. Has to be what I think it is. What does this mean?
And more
Well, let's
importantly,
hear what the defense has to say.
this is one of the things that I question greatly. Why was the wallet found so far from the body? That bothers me.
Yeah.
That the wallet was found so far away from the trunk. Unless he was carried up through that door. And that's when the wallet fell. Because if he wasn't attacked at that scene like I thought he was, because I originally thought he was attacked at the scene, but way super far away from where the trunk
You
was.
said the
and
ID
dragged.
numbers of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you? Witness? What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night.
Oh,
No,
Oh
I
my.
just I got confused. Is this news? Huh? You come out with both guns blazing like you always do. Police department, prosecutor's office, 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time.
Because they weren't murdered in 2 different.
I happen to have a police ID number here.
Well, we tried to turn
Is
it
it yours?
in. We tried to turn it in, but no one would take it, sir.
No, Your Honor, I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman.
shame on you, Righto. Personnel IDs are top secret.
Detective Goodman ID number is 5842189. And what does that mean? What exactly? Huh? Wait, that number, I heard from the chief earlier. It started with 82. Yeah, I've forgotten. Didn't even get the first numbers right. Again. Number the chief's police gave us to was the... Wait a second, right? What is this? What do you want to know? The two ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that?
Because right now, we've got nothing. Oh, sharp as a tack, Righto. Sharp as a tack. I can see why Edgeworth always talks about you.
But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot.
Oh, well, contradiction.
Yet, Detective Goodman was also killed at the police department in the evidence room at the exact same time. That's impossible. So what we're saying is that the same person was killed at the same time in a completely different location?
Or the body was moved. Which would explain why there's no blood at the scene of the crime, why there's no footprints, why there's
What
no
exactly
evidence.
does this mean? No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case.
Now, just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered.
Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case.
Wait. I said wait, or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error. Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours.
What? How dare?
We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our officer Meekins who brought you the news. You are lying through your teeth. Edgeworth,
Do you remember
or are
what...
they mistaking Phoenix for Meekins?
Oh my gosh. Officer Meekins?
Mr. Wright? Where have we heard that name before? Wait,
Mr. Edgeworth is on the premises. I've requested the chief of police to give you your report. You don't mean him?
According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe.
But your officer, he told me, he said the report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident.
Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on the top of the report. No, it wasn't.
Edgeworth, you didn't even read the report. What is wrong with you?
Edgeworth, you're better than this.
Why didn't your officer tell me?
Honestly, I'm not sure if the officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error, a gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy.
Sir, you could have submitted the report this morning to the court as evidence. Then
Why didn't you read it beforehand? Edward, you're an idiot. Because he knew he wouldn't read it. No such luck this time, Worthy, or should I say, unworthy.
What?
Now, what was the second rule of evidence law? Well, Mr. Wright?
Huh? Oh, well, it's, Rule 2, Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. How is this rule relevant?
Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list.
So what does this mean?
I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court.
Hate this guy so much.
He's styling, though.
No, his literal reason for dragging this court case. We were at 30 minutes of 3 videos in a row. And 2 of it is because Gant wouldn't tell us straight up because he works
He wants...
only through protocol. And I hate him.
Is he trying to get Edgeworth thrown out? Because this is the exact order of things you would do so Edgeworth would look over evidence.
Yeah, kind of.
He's trying to get rid of Lana and Edgeworth. Hello. Is it because he can't pay them off? Because
No.
Edgeworth's kind of insane. The connection was just proven by Righto over here. Good job, Righto, my boy.
Huh? I was just doing my job, I
Don't
guess.
say that.
No, do not praise him. I like how that no can basically go for like Edgeworth going, what is happening? And also for please do not praise Phoenix in my vicinity. As soon as we come to the end of this trial.
I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy, with all those rumors. You were even in the defendant's chair just this past December. He's trying to get rid of him.
I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edward? Please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened if it's the last thing I do.
He's gonna tear this. You better get results this time. Really. And it better be to convict Lon the Sky, or I'll hang you out to dry.
Yeah, my profound apologies, sir.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth. Are we at the end of day 1?
Yes.
I don't believe it.
I don't think there's been ever an error this serious in the history of court. I will
we
grant one
just
further
have
day
fun
as the
karma?
prosecution has presented. Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edward? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
He only really needs 3 hours, really.
Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake, I hope is not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned.
We're gonna have to prove Lana Sky had nothing to do with this, and then Miles Edgeworth had nothing to do with this.
Yes. And then we have to prove that Lana Sky has nothing to do with the second one. And then we have to prove...
Miles has nothing to do with the second one.
Well...
Wait, we don't need to because Miles was receiving the award.
Yes, we do have a credible time and a place for him.
At 7 o'clock, not for the time of the murder.
Okay. See you guys later.
See you guys, bye.
Bye.